Yeah, so my words are sensitive, introvert, and anxious. Just generally speaking, growing up, I always felt like I was different in some way, shape, or form because felt things deeper. Offhanded comments would, last for days and days and days for me. And I've just finally fully embraced when I was maybe 30, like, oh, I'm actually a sensitive guy. So instead of trying to fight against that, I've embraced it and become friends with it. And like you said earlier, name it to tame it. Once I figured that out, I was like, oh, that's where these feelings are coming from. Oh, this is why I feel like that. And back then, before that time, I took one of the Myers-Briggs tests and I actually scored extrovert because I may have been answering based on how I was feeling or how I was trying to be. But now I've taken it again years later and I actually score introvert. And people don't really get that about me very often because I'm outgoing, I'm social, I go do the things, but then I crash hard and I need my recharge time. And to the word calm on the front of this, one of the earlier conversations I had with Jeremy when we were being vulnerable was when the first time I told him that I'm really, really anxious, off the charts anxious. And he was like, what? I would have never thought that. You look like a really calm dude. But in my head is the Tasmanian devil. And it is spinning and spinning. And whenever it stops, if you've ever seen the cartoon, whenever he stops to say something, it's intelligent. You can't understand it. It's just blah, 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 blah. Right? And then he spins off. And that's what it feels like in my head. So, but people don't see that. They see this calm, confident, semi-put together person on the outside. And I'll never forget that day when I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm really anxious. And Jeremy was like, you seem like a really cool dude. And I was like, oh my God, I have successfully been hiding it. That's wonderful. But now I know it's not wonderful.
Pictures of him when he has pictures on roller coasters, he's just like, whatever. And if there's a picture of me, I'm like, but he just stoic, I'm good. We're going 112 miles an hour upside down through a tunnel, but yeah, I'm good.
Did you practice that? How did being able to while it's all going haywire, Tasmanian that way, how are you able to settle it? Or is that how you were able to cope? How'd you do it? Or do you know?
I don't know. I mean, it's just years and years and years of really, I remember being in school going I'm having all these thoughts and feelings and I feel like I'm spinning out of control, but I can't let anyone see that. So I would just, tamper it down. To Jeremy's point on the roller coaster, one of our good friends, Kyla, they snapped a picture of us on Space Mountain and her comment to me was, everyone else is screaming and Zach looks like he's in a meeting. I don't know. It's just how I live now. Whatever's going through my head, I look the same.
Oh man. Have these conversations made it so maybe that's for your own protection in that way, but have having these conversations and being able to name it made it easier to just kind of understand yourself? Or because if you're still that way, I wonder, maybe you say one is better than the other, being spinning around or it's calm, but is it serving you?
It is. So now I am. So the flip side to hiding all of that stuff was that when I was joyful, when I wanted to laugh, when I wanted to smile, that wouldn't come out either. Okay. So I was just a stoic being. Once I figured out that it was anxiety, and I didn't know it was anxiety until somebody told me, then I was able to go, oh, well, that's what it is. And rather than fight against it and try and be who I'm not, I made friends with my anxiety. And I tell this story all the time. I told my daughter the other day, when I'm being anxious, I will talk to the little part of my brain that's anxious, a little, pea-sized part of your brain. And I say, hey there, thank you. Thank you. I love you. You are the best. Thank you so much for keeping me out of danger and trying to warn me about these things. But there's no tiger. There's no lion. We're good. We're just taking a left-hand turn into oncoming traffic with no traffic light. That's it. We're not going to die. And that changed my whole life. And now, Jeremy can see it because when I am sad, it does come out on my face a little bit more because I don't feel like I have to hide it. And like even on this call, right? I'm laughing, and Jeremy made me laugh earlier to my artistic ability. That part of it's coming out too. So like naming that one piece has just let me take some of that mask away.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Jeremy, you ready?